Our next team is BamFam. They are our only husband and wife team. And so I'm going to introduce them now. Brinson Davenport, a film major. Mariana Davenport, a social work graduate. And they currently live in Searcy. So please welcome BamFam.
Testing. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brinson Davenport.
And I'm Mariana Davenport.
We're here tonight representing BamFam Films, our independent film production company.
And BamFam is just a term coined by my mother-in-law that stands for a Brinson and Mariana family. And our vision is to bring the Christian faith into richer conversation with film.
The issue we see is that oftentimes Christian media is more of a laughingstock than a light. Oftentimes in Christian media, the beauty of Christ remains unlinked from the beauty of film as an art form. What I mean is that the story and the message of Christ, which are really important, are overemphasized, neglecting the beauty of film as an art form, like I mentioned, oftentimes resulting in cheesy production value in a lot of Christian media. At BamFam Films, we aim to relink these two, the beauty of Christ and the beauty of film, in a more nuanced way.
And this book illustrates this truth very well. It talks about, through very thorough research, the connection between film and theology and how they can work together. And we also believe that film is very powerful and that it's a powerful medium to communicate to Christians and non-Christians. It's enough to note that a movie story has the power to transform a life. In unprecedented ways, film has become the cathedral of the 21st century. And so, the filmmaker has now become the preacher. And the authors also note that film might well become, in God's mysterious plan, the vehicle by which God speaks to those within and outside of the church. Maybe the idea is not to change a culture or a system wholesale, but to chip away at individuals, one streamed episode and movie ticket at a time.
Now, it's been a long journey to finally end up on this stage tonight. This is a picture of me at around age 11 when I first started getting interested in film. I then went on to start a YouTube channel with my brothers that we kept up throughout high school. And that's where I really started to fall in love with filmmaking as an art form. Until eventually this young lad became this young lad, where I am today as a senior film and missions major at Harding University. Now, to accomplish our vision, our key feature is narrative short films, creating narrative short films that screen in community contexts, such as churches, community spaces, as well as nationwide film festivals. The first film that we worked on was called To Be Known, and it chronicled an autistic young man's experience at university. And it did well in the local Harding Film Festival. It won Best Director, Best Film, as well as Audience Choice Award. The next film I was cinematographer for was called And Then They Came, and it also did well in the Harding Local Film Festival, winning Best Director, Best Film, as well as Audience Choice.
And the film that we're currently working on is called Bloody Hands, and it tackles to figure out how Christ's role in trauma looks like. And here are a few behind-the-scenes photos of the work that we've shot so far, and we spent 15 hours this past Saturday working on this film. It's our biggest yet.
Now, in order to fund these short films, we have two strategies, the first of which is commercial videography. Here are a couple of the clients we've served over the years. This is from my time in Rwanda, but really commercial videography is short marketing videos for organizations, companies, schools. We've done 2 weddings as well.
The second strategy we have to fund narrative short films are filmmaking modules. These are going to be highly structured sessions aimed at drawing in middle to high school students to teach them the art of filmmaking. This will look like 3 forums. Introductory workshops are going to be one-off sessions held on a weekend or in the summer to teach the basics of filmmaking. Topical series will be held over a span of a few weeks, tackling one specific component of filmmaking, like cinematography or gaffing or color theory. And professional mentorship sessions will be one-on-one exploratory sessions that cater to a specific client's interest in filmmaking. Our 3-year financial scope looks a little bit like this. On the left, you see filmmaking modules with 3 mentoring sessions a week and averaging 15 clients per workshop with 1 workshop a month. We're expected to make about this much. And on the right, you'll see commercial videography. And if we do 1 project a month and a couple weddings a year with these projections, then we're expected to make this much in revenue. Now, in the first year, we're currently building our client base, and so we're not expecting to make as much as we would in year 2 and year 3. But over the course of 3 years, we're expecting to make roughly $137,000.
Now to recap, BamFam Films aims to bring the Christian faith into richer conversation with film. We focus on this by creating narrative short films that screen in community contexts. We fund these short films through commercial videography as well as filmmaking modules. And if we're fortunate enough to be awarded prize money tonight, I'll tell you exactly where it's going. Firstly, it will go towards continuing funding toward our next short film that Mariana mentioned, as well as purchasing new equipment, which is an expense we see on the new horizon.
Thank you guys for listening. We're BamFam Films, LLC.
Thank you.
Thank you, BamFam, and we are now going to turn it over to our judges for a round of questions.
Interesting concept. How do you reach your market or your target market?
Which of the three do you mean? The narrative short film market or the filmmaking modules or the commercial?
Any or all?
Okay, well I can tackle short film if you want to do that. The short film market is really a very wide market. YouTube is going to be a primary platform that we release our short films on. Like I mentioned, community screenings. We've already been in contact with 2 local contacts here in Searcy, Make Do Creative Center, as well as Wild Sweet Williams. And we're in contact right now with the church in Dallas that's interested in screening our next short film. So it's a lot of word of mouth as well as going door to door and just saying, hey, this is what we're interested in. We want to start conversations through film.
And piggybacking on that, through word of mouth, we're building our client base. Just Brinson being a film major at Harding connects him to a lot of professors that want to have commercial work done. Like you saw, we had a global outreach video and Uplift. So word of mouth across Harding's campus is really helpful for building that client base right now. But he's also we've also done a teaching session at Hut, and that involved schools from all over the nation, Christian schools, and they had students come and listen and learn about filmmaking in that way. So there's just through word of mouth is our main avenue for right now.
Is there a revenue model like, let's say, on Instagram or YouTube, maybe really short films, kind of, or have you investigated that?
That's not within the scope of what we're aiming for.
No. Okay. So.
Yeah. So narrative short films, thinking more closer to 5 to 15 minutes.
I mean, love the concept. That's actually really cool. Very, very fun. So I know. Trying to be nice. No, I'm just. No. So you've got 3 different areas that you're working on. I'm sure that starting out that's great to have a lot of different avenues. But what we find in our business, when somebody comes in and says, but I do hair, nails, massage, I do everything, that means they're not very good at anything. So what is it that you truly want to do? Because I'm thinking that you, at this point, need to really focus on the avenue. Is it the short films? Is it weddings? Because weddings, that's actually a very big business. Because you could probably make more in weddings than you could in short films. But I mean, I know short films, that's a lot of people's passion, but is that the passion that you're looking at? What is the main goal or the final outcome? Say in 5 years you want to be doing?
Sure. Let me run back to these 3.
So our second 2 aspects are a means to fund the narrative short films, and that being the highlight of our business. So our business is not necessarily geared towards making a bunch of money. We're more geared towards film as ministry. And so we see the narrative short films as costing us money, but in the long run, it is a ministerial avenue. The bottom 2 are pretty interrelated. The commercial videography would be something done on the side to make revenue, and that's just using the skills that are already present within us. And then the filmmaking modules will tackle teaching this to other students, which is also making money and ministerial.
Yeah, and I appreciate your concern there. I see how it could seem like we're spreading ourselves thin, but at the end of the day, we're getting really good at one thing, is creating short films, and that leads into the short films, and then ultimately commercial videography is still short film media, so we're still utilizing that one gift and passion. Yeah.
I'm a fond belief, I like the expression, some people run into the fire, some people run from the fire. I think you're trying to run into the fire. When I was a student, we were told we should not go into media, we shouldn't go to New York, we shouldn't go to LA, those were dangerous places full of sin, and you're saying, no, we don't abandon those places and those tools, those media, so I applaud you for doing that personally. Also, just background, a number of years ago, I had a film series to market to churches. I started from ground zero, got them in 621 churches in the first year. So marketing to churches, I like it. It's a different thing, but I understand something about that, so I think it's pretty cool. The points that she made, I think, are excellent, and focus is powerful. When you're married, you can live on love, but eventually money overtakes you. I will promise you that's true. Trying to say I'm going to survive on $40,000 a year for 3 years on average is going to cause you to compromise. Even though it's a ministry, you will compromise. You need to think that through. I'm just giving you a straight hard criticism. If you're good, there's more money than you think there is. Okay? If you're good. There's a lot of preaching. We've had a lot of comments. I'm just giving you here, but I think in this, it seems like you have not thought through really how you're going to market the short films very much. YouTube, word of mouth. Give me confidence that you will actually get people that you're good, which I think you probably are. How do you get people to want to book you and engage you to do the heart of your business? Because word of mouth's not a great way to depend on. It's not a strategy.
I'm going to let him address the second part, your question.
Yeah.
First, I want to address that it was mentioned earlier that I'm a social work graduate, and so right now, as our business is coming off the ground,
Yeah.
I'm working as a social worker here in Searcy. I'm currently
Okay.
employed full time, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now. If this grows to where I'm doing it more than just on the side part time kind of thing, then I would step into a more full time financial marketing production coordination role.
And to address the second part of your question, I know I touched on this shortly, but nationwide film festivals, that is how you make it as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And so getting our names out there and, granted, hopefully, as we continue to finesse our skill base, those short films will be powerful and will be things that can circulate in those film festivals. And so they just say, hey, you can get one accolade, one film festival, you're set. And that's just a trajectory of growth there. So as well as YouTube and grassroots marketing, nationwide film festivals are a big part.
I'm still a little bit confused on what the end product is. Can you give me like an elevator pitch for what the end product actually is?
Sure. For the narrative short film, for example? Okay.
Yes.
Well, we could talk about both things. I'm going to wind back to a previous slide. Let me. Okay. Really, the end product looks like a 10 to 15 minute short film that compresses the storyline of a feature-length film into about 10 to 15 minutes. So this is a very common media form, but really, ultimately, it's about getting 2 or 3 characters in a shorter, condensed version of the story. And what's powerful about short films is it can provide a nuanced punch. It can say one thing really well, whereas a feature-length film might say 5 things really well. You choose your one topic and say, okay, this is what I'm saying through this short film. And so an audience would sit down, just like watching a feature-length film, and just watch a shorter version of that.
Okay, my next real quick question, I know we're almost done. Where are you getting your stories from? Are you buying them? Are you writing them? Because obviously trying to buy a story is, and paying production and all that kind of stuff. So where are your expenses? Like, where are you getting these stories to come?
We are the writers. The story that we're working on right now, we've actually been developing since we got married. He had the initial idea on our honeymoon, and so it goes back all the way back then, and we've just been developing it and changing it, and God has been refining it through the process of writing the script and talking to mentors and things like that. But that comes from us and some beloved friends.
And the 2 screenwriting professors here at Harding have taken so much time to go through it with us and give us feedback, and I can assure you they would be there in years to come to provide that as well.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.